real thoughts, real trades, real journey. A video journal documenting the lessons learned on my journey to becoming a disciplined trader. Welcome to Trading the Journey. I'm Neil, and today I want to share a trading day that taught me one important lesson. Let's see what the market had to teach me. Well, I have to say today was a bit of a disappointing day, to say the least. You know, my bias was bullish for the day. When the new session opened, there was a bit of a consolidation that I saw. You know, it was going, a bit sideways, between 5 and 6 o'clock, almost to set, really till 7, and then it did a double bottom around 8:15 and then started to grind up. And then when it got to pre-market after 4 a.m., then it went sideways until the market opened. I expected a pullback and then a grind higher, but as to when that would happen, that was another question. And it was holding near the previous day high as well. At the market open, there was a bearish engulfing, which usually is a sign of reversal. It could reverse, even though it was going sideways, in the pre-market. And then there was a bullish engulfing candle. Who knows which direction it was going to go. So I got in right around here, about 10 a.m., with a stop below the previous bear candle. I had some things going for me here that I thought was strong. It was a bullish engulfing, and it went down a little further. It stopped me out before it did another grind up. So that was the pullback I was talking about. And I was very disappointed in this. I thought I had a good play, and it just didn't work out. Could I have done? Actually, I really don't know what I could have done. I feel a bit disappointed and a loss every time. I mean, I'm just lost for words, really. I don't know what to think. All I know is I can just play my plays, set my stops, manage the trade as best as I can, and see what happens. That's all I can do. Right after that, again, I wasn't in a really good frame of mind to do another trade. I was thinking about it, possibly a fence trade forming to the downside, but then it felt like I was going to force it, and I decided to close it down. And as you can tell, again, it reversed and grinded up until about 2 o'clock today. As for tomorrow, I mean, we'll see what happens. I can only come back and try to see what kind of story the market is telling me. For anybody out there I'm using Take Profit Trader, and still in the evaluation phase, going on my second month, and I just feel like I'm not making any headway with anything. It can't be my strategy. I just don't know what it is. I have no answers. If anybody out there can, if anybody out there is in the same boat where they feel like they're just not making any headway, please let me know. I just don't know what to do about it, really. All I know is just keep going, follow the rules, and keep going. I took one trade today and shut it down. Yesterday was the same way. Yesterday was real emotional. Today, not as emotional, but it was a lot more disappointment than yesterday. And so that's kind of a difference. There were some other plays here I could have, if I had kept the chart open. There's some other plays I could have gotten in on. There's a power bar here, power bar here. I mean, probably could have gotten in on those, but I just didn't feel like it. The question I had in my mind at the time I was taking this trade was, what's not working? I just don't understand what's going on. I'm trying to be careful about what I say, but I can't seem to think and evaluate what the trade was and evaluate what happened. Because I feel like I don't know. I don't know if it's the way I'm reading the chart. I don't know if it's whether I'm impatient. I don't know. I didn't feel like I was forcing the trade. But after that, if I had gotten into a trade, it would have felt like a forced trade. So who knows? I'll come back tomorrow and see what happens. Thank you for joining me for today's lesson. The market has voted. Today's lesson is written. I hope something from today's trade helps you on your own journey towards becoming a more disciplined trader. If today's trade reminded you of something you've experienced yourself, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. If you enjoyed today's journal entry, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button on that video and subscribe to follow the journey. Until next time, real thoughts, real trades, real journey.